Welcome to QuickBooks Online. This is a sample company, and today I want to talk about what happens when you have a customer account balance in the negative. This means that one of your customers here in QuickBooks Online has a credit, and we want to investigate what's going on because there's no chance that I owe one of my customers money, right? So inside the sample company in the Cool Cars customer name, I'm looking and I'm seeing that someone recorded a deposit here to this customer saying that we received money from this customer, but it was not matched to a customer payment. And this customer doesn't even have an open invoice of $500, doesn't have any open invoices. So what happened was someone received a deposit, probably in the bank feed, that was for $500 because they know this customer sent us a check for $500 and we deposited it, right? This is what the deposit looks like. On the bank deposit, this was received from Cool Cars, and the accounts receivable account was credited. And that is causing our customer to have a negative open balance, meaning that they have a credit on their account. What you can do here is either go and delete this deposit, sending it back to the bank transactions feed, or what we can do is create an invoice to offset the payment of $500. And I'm going to click on new transaction and click on invoice. And from here, Cool Cars will already be selected. I can change the invoice date to whatever the actual invoice date was. I'm just going to type in services and put that this was a $500 service. And I'm going to click on save. And QuickBooks will pop up with this little window telling us that QuickBooks applied an existing credit of $500 to this invoice. I'm going to click OK. And now, once the invoice has been saved, we can see that its status is paid and that there was a payment applied. And this payment was automatically created to offset the open invoice of $500 and the deposit that we recorded, probably in the bank feed, of $500 for this client. That amount received for this payment transaction is $0 because there was that $500 credit that QuickBooks Online automatically applied to the open invoice that we just created. You can turn off the feature where QuickBooks automatically applies payments, and you may want to go ahead and do that because they're just going to apply it to the most overdue invoice. You can turn that feature off and manually apply payments as you need to. This was created by QuickBooks Online automatically to link the credit that this customer had to the invoice that we created. Now I'm going to show you what you actually need to do instead of recording the deposit as a payment from a customer in the first place. Instead of recording a deposit in the bank feed as a customer, crediting their accounts receivable, when you receive a payment and you deposit it from a customer like a check and you do a mobile deposit at the bank and there's no invoice for that customer's payment, what you can do is click on the plus new option, and under our first column for our customer transactions, we're going to click on sales receipt. The sales receipt is like combining an invoice with a received payment transaction into one transaction. So it reduces the amount of data entry that we need to do. If I were to pick the same customer for this sales receipt and tell QuickBooks that I deposited a check, always deposit to undeposited funds. You'll remember that from a previous video that I've done. And if I've already deposited the payment from the customer, all I need to do is to create a sales receipt in QuickBooks Online. I'm going to tell QuickBooks what the amount of the payment was, what the payment was for, because I need to tell QuickBooks what service or product we provided so that it maps it to the correct income category on our profit and loss statement. Once I've recorded the sales receipt, I click on save. Now that the sales receipt has been recorded for that customer payment that I deposited, when I come into the checking account and I see a $500 deposit for my customer's payment, I will be able to match that to the sales receipt that I just created. So it's going to say something like this. It'll be the date of the sales receipt that we created, the date of the deposit, and it's going to say one match found, and it will match it to that sales receipt. And we always want to double check in the bank transactions feed where I'm at right now that we are matching appropriate transactions. Because there could be a case where you have multiple transactions of the same amount, they're probably around the same date, and we need to make sure that we're matching it to the right one. So that was your quick tutorial on how to record sales receipts and what to do if your customer in QuickBooks Online has a negative balance on their account, aka a credit with you. That's how to handle those transactions and how to do it correctly so you don't wind up with credits for your customers in the first place. If you like this video, then like this video and make sure to give me a follow and subscribe to my channel, because I'm sending you more free information about using QuickBooks Online to keep track of your small business finances. Thanks for watching.